Hi everyone, my name is Carolina Caycedo. I am the Wanlass Artist Residency and I will be giving a course this fall and also putting up an exhibition at Oxy Arts in spring next year. And first of all, I hope everyone is safe at home and this extraordinary moments. Start by speaking a little bit about the course I want to give and then telling you more about my own practice and how some of the ideas on the course kind of are embodied. I want to give a course that's called A Sustained Environment, emphasizing in the word sustenance as a challenge to the word sustainability, and that I find a little bit problematic because it makes us feel better about a system of production and consumption that is really not sustainable. If we think about the word sustainable, it means literally to maintain a level of production, and I prefer to think about the word sustenance, sustaining something as an alternative. To think about how when we provide sustenance, we're actually taking care of, we're nurturing, we're loving. And that's why I decided to call a sustained environment, thinking about what are the ways that we can sustain, nurture, take care of this environment, of our environment in moments of climate crisis and today in moment of pandemic crisis where the world as we know it is thrown up into the air and we have to be creative and think about other ways of inhabiting this context. During this course, we're going to learn about different approaches to nature, indigenous ways, African ways, Asian indigenous ways. Nature and culture are not separated, and us humans, are embedded in a system of relationships that conform an ecosystem, and we cannot detach ourselves from that. As an artist, one of my skills is to not only create images but also deconstruct them. So we're going to be looking at how images of green capitalism are constructed and what are the underlying messages of green capitalism visuals. We're also going to gain skills in how to do thorough research. So we're going to be conducting research in archives, libraries, but also doing field work, visiting sites, interviewing people, crossing into other departments, environmental science program at Occidental, as well as an urban and environmental policy program that we want to reach out and see what sorts of bridges we can build between our course. We're going to visit initiatives in Los Angeles where art and environment overlap. So one of them is the Lassie Air residency at the Clean Tech Incubator in downtown LA. It's a prototype laboratory and incubator that is hosted by the Los Angeles Water and Power Department. And we're going to visit Metabolic Studio, which is a studio of artist Lauren Bonn, who is doing an amazing job in recovering and restoring part of the Los Angeles River. And we're gonna have guest speakers in class. So not only from Occidental, some of these programs I mentioned before, but also artists like Clarissa Tosin, who is a Brazilian artist living in Los Angeles and has been touching upon issues of ecological degradation, for example, in her home country in the Amazon. We're going to reach out also to community members that are working around environmental justice issues in Los Angeles, such as East Yard Communities for Environmental Justice, who are located both in Vernon, in East LA, and in Long Beach, looking at what are the implications of having a port of such dimensions in Los Angeles. This class is going to be open to every major, not only art students, but I'm interested in making art and in facilitating art processes that anyone from any discipline, from any background can tap into and feel comfortable in. I'm going to make the screen a little bit smaller so we can focus on the images I'm going to show you. This first image is an example of the kinds of exercises I like to propose in class, understanding that the body is a source of knowledge too. There's no real understanding if there's no feeling and no processing of the knowledge through the body. For me, this is very important. For the last decade, I've been focusing on how infrastructures, mostly water infrastructures, affect bodies of water and affect social bodies. And I started by looking at a very specific case study called El Quimbo Dam in southern Colombia. So in 2014, I had the chance to work with communities who were organized in resistance against the dam and facilitate a series of workshops where the use of the body was reinforced as a political tool. So some of the workshops include muralism, the use of audiovisual tools, performative actions in public space, social cartography, and some of the resulting actions and conclusions out of these workshops were events like this one, where we would write with our bodies on the riverbanks messages. For example, this one says Rios Vivos, which means living rivers. We wanted to do this to kind of leave a living trace on the location where the dam impound and fill up the territory with water. The body holds what we call accumulated knowledge, which means a knowledge that is inherited from your family, from your grandmothers, from your mothers, from your parents. We all have accumulated knowledge. Now in these times of economic, pandemic, climate crisis, we are seeing that these accumulated knowledge are gaining a lot of strength and may be crucial for our surviving as a species in the planet. This is an embodiment of accumulated knowledge to cast a net in the river. So the fishing net became a material of a series of sculptures that I call the cosmonets. And the cosmonets come out of a very intuitive process in the studio. I think about the cosmonets as a meeting point between my work with communities and my work in the studio. And I really take pleasure in playing with color and shape and form with the fishing nets because I believe they already have such a strong story behind them. These fishing nets are handmade. They're given to me by fisherfolk who have been impacted by infrastructures. They're very kinetic too. They respond to the elements. And each of them has a particular story. So this one, for example, is called Oshun, is dedicated to the Yoruba deity of fresh waters. One of the aspects that I told you we're going to explore in the course is a non-Western epistemology, so indigenous approaches to nature. And in this series, I really challenged the idea of landscape as a way to represent nature. So if we think about the two main formats, you have the portrait format, which is a more vertical format, and then you have the landscape, which is a more horizontal. Any painting that's a landscape, it functions like a window, right? Where you are standing outside of that window, looking at nature through that format of landscape. No, you're looking at through that window, but you're not part of that landscape. You're kind of outside of it. But in indigenous epistemology, it's all the contrary. Nature and culture are interweaved, and the human society is part of the set of relationships that build an ecosystem. So these series are called water portraits, and they do that. They portrait a specific body of water. The ones I'm going to show portrait bodies of water here in Southern California. This one is the Santa Ana River mouth when it touches the Pacific Ocean. This one is the San Gabriel River, and this is the Santa Ana River, which in Hashemin and Tongva language is called Wanauna. Fabric is a material that you can put in the water without, degrading it. And so I'm going to show you a little piece of a video that I made in collaboration with a group of dancers. What we're going to work during the course too is how to collaborate across disciplines. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the video that's called Thanks for Hosting Us. We are healing our broken bodies, and it's filmed on location here in Southern California, and it's a way to activate the water portraits. And one of the aims of this video was to build a collective body. The video evolves up to this part where all the dancers are actually dancing in choreography as one single body. I wanted to finish this presentation by showing a publication, an artist book called the Serpent River Book. You see it here installed in this custom-made table. It's an accordion fold book that compiles visual and textual research from this body of work. And I wanted to make a publication that functioned not only as a book that you could access and read through, but that could have also more sculptural qualities for an exhibition display, but also worked as a workshop tool or resource, something that communities who are contesting large infrastructure such as dams could use also as a way to tell their own stories and to feel connected to other communities. So here you can see some moments where I'm sharing the book with some of these communities I've been collaborating with. What you can expect from the course, A Sustained Environment, is to collaborate across disciplines with students from other majors who are in the course, to reach out to other faculty and students across the Occidental campus that are studying environmental issues, doing field work in locations that we'll identify during the course that is of our interest. And we're expecting to finish the course with a project that can build up your portfolio and that can become a tool for speaking about a particular issue around an environmental problematic happening around Occidental campus. So everyone is welcome. I hope to see you soon. Take care. Thank you.